Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 2, speaking of PEDs and anabolic compounds for women competitors. And we're gonna jump right into how people select compounds. I mentioned, Adam, that I think kind of the most common gateway is Anavar, but I know women take other non-virilizing compounds, and then all the way up to some that are a little bit more on the androgenic side. So again, I'm not sure how much you know just because of your clients telling you, what they do or what you read and see other people doing, but let's run through the list.
Yeah. So a lot of people talk about like female friendly compounds. At the end of the day, pretty much anything can be used. However, certain compounds have less tendency to virilize. So, there's not necessarily steroids that are made specifically for females or specifically for males. I don't want people thinking like if you take Anavar, that's a female drug. But it's tolerated by females better, which means it has less virilization. So basically what we're looking at when we're using for females, we look for something that has a higher anabolic ratio and lower androgenic ratio. So high anabolic, low androgenic. Androgenic means that it's going to cause those masculating side effects, which we really don't want. So clitoral enlargement, facial hair growth, things of those nature. So it's best to look at each compound individually. And, that's why Anavar is so common. It has a very high anabolic to very low androgenic ratio on paper. You also have to consider how it binds. Some things bind better than others. So even though you're taking 10 milligrams of this drug, 10 milligrams of another drug might bind better, which would make it more powerful. So you do have to take that into consideration as well. So typically Anavar and Primo are well tolerated by females. Typically a 19 nor like nandrolone would be, actually a good option because you see 19 nors elevated during gestation. So, if that caused masculine side effects, women would come out masculine. But again, the poison's in the dose, and you have to remember that's less common because there's a little bit longer of a life with a 19 nor, where people might go with NPP since it's faster. But you really have to watch the dose with that. And some girls have more androgen sensitivity than others. So your best friend may be taking 10 milligrams of Anavar a day and have no side effects whatsoever. And you may take 10 and get a completely different result. So you really do want to monitor your clients. You want to monitor your health. But, at the end of the day, you want to count the milligrams that you're using and, try to keep it as low as possible. So lowest effective dose. If you're progressing well on 10 milligrams of Anavar or 5, there's no reason to bump it up. You're already progressing. So why race to go higher, and you'll find as you experiment with this, typically the higher you go, it's not necessarily the gains get better, the side effects just get worse.
Well, and I want to go back to Anavar for just a second, because that being an oral steroid with a half-life of less than a day, you do have to keep taking that. And I had always heard, even from the 80s, when we're in the just say no era, and steroids literally became a Scheduled 1 substance back in the 80s, that makes it a little bit harsher on your liver. But we are talking small doses. You can start with 5 milligrams, 10, you can even get up to 20 or 30. But by the time you get to that level, as a female, wouldn't you want to just say, okay, extra of this dose is not necessarily helpful, so maybe now it's time to add a little Winstrol V? I don't know how far women, if we get into actual bodybuilding and they're on Dianabol and everything else, I'm sure we'll get into that. But where do you say is kind of the top of the line for a figure competitor or a bikini competitor who wants to still have all those feminine attributes, definitely does not want the virilization of an androgenic, but they're fighting for the top. They want to be Miss Olympia. They want that IFBB pro card. So a high, where do you see people end up as kind of a high mark?
Well, and this is a great segue because you can actually use a non-virilizing compound like human growth hormone. And if that's really important to you, you obviously pay the cost to, growth hormone is not cheap, but it's not going to virilize at all. And you can create synergy with Anavar and HGH, and not to promote it, but you can actually get some more IGF-1 binding with some insulin with HGH. So if a girl really wants to stay feminine, that's definitely a great way to go. And just keeping those compounds at a dose that you don't virilize on. And this is where designing cycles and playing the game smart for the long term is really important.
And that's where we're going to pick up next time in episode 3, guys. We're going to talk about the legitimacy of some of these things, some of the tactics. So stay with us, and we will see you in episode 3 next time in Contest Prep University.